Good morning and peace be with you, dear parents. In a few minutes, we shall start our parents' orientation. Just a few reminders before we start the orientation. Mute your microphones during the session. This is to avoid disruptions on the presentations. You may use the chat feature for inquiries and questions. To save bandwidth, you may turn off the video camera and focus on the presentations. Selected inquiries will be entertained during the open forum. The session will be recorded for streaming and be shown in our FB page. For further inquiries, you may send an email to info@spcmakati.edu.ph.
Let us remember that we are in the holy presence of God, and we adore His holy name. We begin our prayer with the sign of our faith, in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen.
Lord, we thank you for looking after us, especially during this time of crisis. Thank you for blessing us with people who love and care. Most of all, thank you for teaching us to grow in faith and be joyful even in difficult moments.
Thank you, O Lord.
There have been many times when you lifted our spirits through other people's compassion. Forgive us for not being grateful and even causing hurts because of our actions.
Forgive us, O Lord.
In the midst of this trying time, help us to remember your sufferings on the cross so that we may remember always how much you love us. Allow us to joyfully share your love and to feel joy and confidence even in the most challenging situations.
Bless us with your grace, O Lord.
Our greatest joy comes from Jesus living in us. The best way to express our gratitude is to live in joyful hope amidst trials and difficulties. Let our joyful disposition transform our homes and communities with Christ who strengthens us.
We beseech you, O Lord, to direct all our actions by your holy inspirations and carry them by your gracious assistance, so that every prayer, word, thought, and good work may always begin. We beseech you, O Lord, to direct all our actions by your holy inspirations and carry them by your gracious assistance, so that every prayer, word, thought, and good work may always begin from you and through you, through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Mary, our mother and model,
Pray for us.
Saint Paul, our patron,
Pray for us.
Father Chauvet and our first sisters,
Intercede for us.
May the love of Christ impel us.
now and forever.
In the name of the Father, and
Father,
of the
and of the
Son,
Son.
and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Good morning and peace be with you, dear sisters, teachers, parents, guardians, and friends in the spirit of St. Paul. It has been a while since we got to see each other because we are all struggling to the fundamental and drastic shift of our lives due to the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. We are all greatly affected. The educational landscape is now transitioning to the new normal. We assure you that St. Paul College of Makati, through your active partnership, provides your children the quality Paulinian education they deserve, even in these times of uncertainty. This is the very reason why we have designed the home-based engagements and alternative learning programs, or the HEAL program, as our school continuity plan for school year 2020-2021. This would be more challenging because we are all first-timers. We are creating partnerships, investing in education, which is one of the best investments in the future. Looking ahead to a broader and more ambitious teaching learning process in this time of pandemic, we must reach out to form the partnership that are needed to bring about innovative solutions and results on the ground. As Charles Darwin said, and I quote, "It is not the strongest or the most intelligent who will survive, but those who can best adapt to change." We establish partnerships that embrace willingness to pursue change for growth and development, promote teamwork that is based on strategies and methods to learn, to grow, to reinvent education, and thus produce Polinians who are intellectually bright and morally upright. Today, I welcome you back to St. Paul College of Makati through this online general parents orientation, coupled with a conversation on ensuring safe, healthy, and fun learning at home. Indeed, SPCM is always and is our home and will always be our home. A home that stimulates thirst for learning, hones skills, and develops potentials of Polinians. With this, they can be primed for the real world. Thank you for opting to join our online Parents General Orientation, an opportunity for us to learn more, appreciate more, and be culturally ready with the new normal. As we get through this orientation, please be reminded of the following. Mute your microphones during the session. This is to avoid disruptions on the presentations. You may use the chat feature for inquiries and questions. To save bandwidth, you may turn off the video camera and focus on the presentations. Selected inquiries will be entertained during the open forum. The session will be recorded for streaming and be shown in our FB page. For further inquiries, you may send an email to info@spcmakati.edu.ph. To formally welcome us in this online Parents General Orientation, may we hear words from our very own vibrant and dynamic Directress Principal, Sister Esperanza Rafael Rodriguez, SPC.
Good morning and peace be with you. On behalf of the administration and SPC family, I'm happy to welcome you to the school year 2020-2021. We are looking forward to a productive partnership with you despite our situation. This is to ensure that your children can achieve their highest potential. We recognize that in order to be successful in school, our children need support from both home and school. We know a strong partnership will make a great difference in your children's formation and education. As partners, we share the responsibility for our children's success and want you to know that we will do our very best to carry out our responsibilities. In this trying time, we ask that you guide and support your child's learning by ensuring that he or she attends learning daily at home and ready for day's learning experience in their daily uniform, completes all tasks given by teachers, reads daily to develop a love for reading and to improve literacy skills, shares school experiences with you so that you are aware of his or her life as a student, inform you that he or she needs additional support in any area or subject, knows that you expect him or her be promoted into the next level. SPCM would like to assure you, dear parents, that the safety and security of your children are our priorities. The ship of delivery of instruction will need DepEd's approval. We will be working on the continuity of online and virtual instruction until the end of the school year 2020-2021, except that grade 6, 10, 11, and 12 students will be requested to report to finish some other requirements and practices before moving up and graduation. Please be informed that all our plans for school year 2020-2021 in response to the COVID-19 situation or global pandemic are adherent to the official statement of the President and the mandate from the Department of Education. Be it known to you that St. Paul College of Makati employees and personnel are still with us. We have not retrenched anybody except that they follow a skeletal schedule that would give each one an opportunity to work with pay. But due to the difficulty in the transportation, a few opted to do business in their own locality for a year while COVID-19 is still spreading. Our teachers too are only obliged to report on certain days to submit their requirements. We will be posting news and other matters at SPCM Web to keep you abreast regarding our plans and activities. Our fees have been adjusted by the Finance Office, making school status as tighten our belt in order to survive. Sister Mary Urban Mago SPC will give us the detail of how computation was made. We ask your cooperation to please contact our other parents who have not enrolled to come back to SPCM. Pray that this pandemic will come to an end so that we will enjoy again God's richness and abundance. Let us take care of our surroundings, keep safe, follow the mandate of the Department of Health, and be there with your kids in learning. Aside from the academic development, the school thought of giving extra course online to teachers, to personnel, students, parents, and guardians in baking, cooking, health tips, and even personality development. The Polinian Hour will also be incorporated in the classes of the children. Thank you very much for your support and generosity. Let us pray that this pandemic will have its end and that each one of us will remain safe with our daily activities. Rest assured of our prayers. Caritas Christi urget nos.
Thank you so much, dear Sister Esperanza, for that very warm welcome. Those tips that you have enumerated are all indispensable as we mentor, coach, and guide our Polinians under our care. Those words will always be remembered in setting goals for this school year. By the way, dear parents, we would like to acknowledge Sister Eileen Bonifacio, SPC, Principal of St. Paul San Rafael, for joining us in our parents' orientation today. Good morning, Sister, and thank you so much for joining us.
Good
We might,
morning.
good morning, Sister. We might have been troubled these past few days of how we would be able to adapt and adjust in the new normal in the field of education, especially that it is almost the opening of classes. We question, are we really ready for the next school year? Considering that learning is done at the comfort of our homes makes us worry a lot. Worry no more, as we will be enlightened by our invited speaker on ensuring safe, healthy, and fun learning at home. May I call on Ms. Maria Cristina Delcano, Subject Team Leader of the English Department, for the introduction to the guest speaker.
Good morning to the members of the SPCM community, especially to our dear parents. I have the honor to introduce to you our guest speaker for this morning. Dr. Dennis Prince Hermano is a proactive and creative performance coach, educator, trainer, lifelong learner, and social entrepreneur with more than 17 years of broad professional experience in training in various sectors and industries. He has strategic appreciation and vision and is able to formulate and implement sophisticated plans with a proven track record explicitly supporting institutional and individual development needs. He has been helping schools across the country in various ways by being an educational leadership and management consultant of various Catholic schools, formulating and implementing hashtag happy classroom teaching and learning strategies, providing strategic performance management system and professional development services to training and consulting firms, LGUs and schools, rendering free online coaching services to young professionals and senior high school students, and developing and implementing continuing parent education programs as an active parent officer for more than 6 years. He has more than 15 years of teaching experience in the international baccalaureate, tertiary, master's, and doctorate levels, 7 years of which are in two ISO certified institutions, 6 years as concurrent dean, and 2 years as planning and research director. He also serves as managing coach of Drucker Learning Solutions. He is the co author of How to Succeed in the 21st Century Work Environment, a work immersion guide for senior high school, published by Rex Publishing Corporation. He has completed a study on enabling senior high school as competent 21st century human capital, commissioned by Rex Publishing Corporation from August to December 2016, as well as various policy, business, and educational research across sectors and industries. He has managed several advocacy projects funded by international and local agencies, developed, conducted, and evaluated more than 500 training interventions since 1998, and has been providing professional services on strategic and sustainability planning, training and development, performance management, and research for clients in the agribusiness, non-government organizations, local government units, food and beverage, and religious sectors. Dr. Hermano earned a post-baccalaureate diploma in organizational development, post-baccalaureate diploma in teaching, master's and doctorate degrees in business administration, earned 45 units in Master of Arts in History, and completed academic units of organizational development and transformation. To continuously sharpen his saw, he frequently attends various online and on site seminars and conferences in the Philippines and abroad all year round. Our speaker is surely a highly accomplished person, but among all these, he takes pride in being a father to his children. Ladies and gentlemen, let us all welcome Dr. Dennis Prince Hermano.
Doc, wala pong sound. Doc, wala pa rin pong sound.
Right? While waiting for Dr. Hermano is resetting for a minute, you may type your questions on our chat on the chat feature, please. By the way, Sister Eileen is the principal of St. Paul University San Miguel. I would just like to repeat our reminders. Mute your microphones during the session. This is to avoid disruptions on the presentations. You may use the chat feature for inquiries and questions, and you may start typing your questions, dear parents. To save bandwidth, you may turn off the video camera and focus on the presentations.
Can you hear me now, Miss
All right.
PT?
Yes, 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 Doc.
Right, thank you. Again, good morning to our dear Sister Esperanza, the directress of St. Paul College, Makati. And of course, I'm also honored to see Sister Eileen Bonifacio, the EVP of SPUQC San Rafael Campus. Thank you also to the management team, the teachers and staff. But of course, I'm very happy to meet the parents of St. Paul College, Makati. I'm going to share with you my thoughts and insights as a parent, of course, taking a cue from my experience. By the way, I'm a single father who single-handedly raised my two daughters. They are now teenagers. They're also studying in a Polinian school. It was a little hard for me the past few months because there was a time that I was planning to transfer my children to the public school. You know, life is a little hard, but I figured I think this is also the best time that I should support, all the more that I need to support my children. And I weighed all several factors, and I came to a final decision that definitely they should stay in a Polinian school. Uh, I understand some of us are experiencing a little hardship, maybe in finances, but love prevailed. The reason why you are here is also because you love your children, and we are so blessed that uh, we are healthy, we are safe, and we are still able to send our children to a good school such as St. Paul College of Makati. So the theme of our conversation is how to make sure that our children are safe, healthy, and having fun while they're learning at home. There are joys and trials of parenting teenagers, most especially that we are facing uncertainty, most especially that this is a new experience for all of us. I don't know how you're coping, but every day is a learning experience for me. Um, I include a little bit discussion about trials because this kind of this generation, the teenagers are experiencing changes in their life, physically, emotionally, and all other changes that sometimes we don't understand. But of course, parehas tayo naging teenager, so we know what happened to us before. The only difference is the world that they are now is different from our time. We experience some uh, undesirable actions and reactions of our children because that's part of their growing up. There were times I'm complaining, sabi ko, ba't ganyan ng sumasagot na, marunong na sumagot? Definitely, that's part of the learning process of growing like teenagers. Also, the challenges about who they are with, their friends, yeah, their friends, the choice of friends. Sometimes we don't approve, and of course, this is also the time that they will start entertaining puppy love, suitors. Okay, so ako medyo I'm also asking from other parents how they're coping. Sabi ko paano ba kasi ako I'm alone eh. I'm alone. Kumbaga kulang ako ng unlike you may mga emotional support system. So I keep on asking some friends. We even created a community of online community for parents who are in the same unique situation as mine. But above all, of course, love prevails. Sabi ko nga, the reason why our children are still studying in a Polinian school, it's because we love them. Uh, Kinikwenta ko, pwedeng malaki matipid ko, pero walang mahal sa nagmamahal. The reason why we are choosing a good school for our children is because it's our love. It's our expression of love. Of course, they can learn the same thing in the public school. I'm not discounting din naman the capacity of the public schools to teach our children. But there are things that far outweigh my decision to transfer them to the public school or any other school that I find a little cheaper. Uh, Two things. Number one is formation. Yeah, formation. We need our children to undergo the same Christian formation. Mas lalo na ngayon kasi very challenging sa kanila how they keep with boredom. Kung hindi sila busy sa sa mahahalagang bagay, they might be driven to something that's not good for them also. So magandang maging busy din sila in their walk in their faith, in their walk with God through a Catholic education. Another is I find Catholic school, especially Polinian school, helpful to me as a parent because the training that the sisters provide, the teachers, administrators, is very holistic, integral, and continuing. I'm familiar with other schools, other Catholic schools in the country because I also serve some schools in my capacity as consultant. But of course, I find a Polinian school cut above the rest when it comes to uh, I call it shared parenting coming from the school. Yeah, they're really like parents of my children. Yung mangungumusta, yung just like this, yung initiative na to, in some other schools, they just orient the parents regarding the fees, regarding the delivery of instruction. But I really appreciate the initiative of the SPCM management and the sisters in finding ways how to uh, equip parents in their journey with their children in this time of pandemic. I highlighted I highlighted the joy in red because of course over and above trials, joy there's a joy in raising children. Oo. Ang ating mga anak ay produkto ng ating pagmamahal. They are our choice. They are a concrete manifestation of our love. Kaya sila nabuhay sa mundong ito dahil sa pagmamahal. Okay? They are born out of love. And therefore, we need to express our love. And one way is providing the best education that they will have as they grow up. There is a drastic transition from the classroom to class home. Yung experience ko nung last quarter of the year, para akong bata na sobrang curious, how is it to attend to certain performance tasks like CAT? Uh, yung bunso ko, gumising madaling araw kasi iti-tape niya yung kanyang performance task in CAT. That was, I think, her final performance in CAT. Sobrang cute because she dressed up like a cadet. Talagang nagbihis, nag-ano yung kanyang sword, bit-bit, nag-tie ng hair. The only difference is, of course, she did it in our sala. Nasa living room siya. Yung baba, kanang balikat, and so on. Okay, all the other drills in CAT. That made me realize that I need to change certain arrangements at home, like some spaces to be converted into learning spaces. So yung sala naging ano na, naging parang classroom na. And we started also to change the programming of our activities kasi uh, their school will require them to do performance task in this particular time. Ako rin, I'm working from home. So, kailangan ko rin mag-adjust kasi it should not only be me who will be using the space or who will be watching Netflix kasi I trained myself through watching Netflix movies na magaganda. You watch some movies on parenting. Doon ako nag-aaral din aside from asking my friends who are who experience the same experience with me. So yun, there are changes. Nag-adjust din ako sa time ng pagtulog and paggising ng aking mga anak because after school, when their final test ended, so I allowed them to oversleep, to sleep late kasi wala naman silang gagawin. Kaysa naman magdebate lang kami magdebate every day. So that's it. Physical changes at home, our programming of our activities, yeah, and then give and take relationship regarding the use of our laptop. We're sharing my laptop kasi we only have two laptops at home. But now, I'm planning to buy one for each. I'm planning to buy a new one for my younger daughter who will be specializing arts and design next school year in grade 11. Kinakalculate ko, oh, mahal pala ang mga laptop ngayon. But at the end of the day, again, nananaig yung pagmamahal natin as parents. The reason why they need these gadgets or laptop is for their educational use. And besides, it will help them also develop certain skills that they will need in their career. It's not just for Zoom or for Google Classroom or for online learning, but there are also life skills that they need to upgrade from time to time. So in the transition from the classroom to class home, uh, every day for me is always a learning experience. I'm also teaching online in the graduate school. I started my classes March 16. I was supposed to fly to another country to deliver a program of St. Paul University. Pero naabutan ako ng cancellation of flight, so I just delivered my classes right inside my room. I converted my bedroom into my home office. So can you imagine how uh, difficult it was at first for me to change the placement of some stuff inside my room. Even the bed, some chairs were removed because I had to create more space inside my room. Of course, psychological transition then. Uh, I also believe that there is a need for our children to be in the physical classroom. Face-to-face instruction for me is very important because socialization is also important for our children. Being away from their friends for several months, I think it's very uh, anxious and depressing, and it's really hard because they are so attached to their teachers also. But at the end of the day, I said, okay, safety. Wala pang vaccine kaysa naman magkasakit mga anak ko. Sige na lang. I accepted the fact that, of course, there is a better way for them to learn, which is, I think the sisters and the administrators naman are conscious enough to provide what's best for our children. This is a kind of setup that has been changed from the face-to-face time, naging ganito na bigla ang sala, ang bedroom, because we need to provide equal access to space for our children. Okay? Yung dating mga nilalagay natin kung ano-ano dyan, ornamentation, ni-remove na to provide more space for our children to learn. Even the lighting, kasi these teenagers, they have preference for a little dim, mga amber light, o ayaw nila ng sobrang maliwanag. So that's part of the transition also. It's not actually bringing the school to our home. The concept of class-home transition is to foster an environment for learning inside our household. Okay, so ang bahay hindi na lang siya place for rest, but primarily it's a place for work and learning. This also reminds me that salamat na merong pandemic, kasi feeling ko blessing ito. This is the only time na mas naging close ako sa mga anak ko, because before I was chasing flights, traveling from one place to another, one country to another. I didn't have much time for my children, but of course online we communicate. Meron kaming family group chat. Pero iba yung pagkasama mo yung mga anak mo, iba. They will only be teenagers for once. Oo, kasi later on, pag graduate na ng college yan, hihiwalay na sa atin yan. So, sabi ko, Lord, thank you kasi this gives me an opportunity to be closer to my children, to be more involved in their lives, to know them better, and for them also to know me better, to understand what I do, my vocation, my activities, my profession. And this is also the time na they're sharing about their life. I have learned to know their friends. Mas dumami yung kaibigan kong friends nila. So, yung kanilang perspective din ay naiintindihan ko na bakit ganun sila, bakit ganyan. And they also tried to explain to me certain behaviors. Yeah. And now I don't react the way I was reacting before. Because the time that they are with me and the time that I'm with them, it gave me an opportunity to understand ourselves better. And I learned to express more as a parent certain love languages that never before I had demonstrated or exemplified for them. So love, no, love talaga, love. Love conquers all. You forget the... Ako nakakalimutan ko na lang magkano babayaran ko for the school year kasi I'm always reminded by my love for them. Uh, I'm not saying we are rich. We are not. We are not. Ano lang, I'm drawing inspiration from that na sabi ko, Lord, despite of all this, nakakayanan mo pang ibigay ang graces and blessings to me, for me to be able to send my children back to school, especially a Paulinian school. Kasi nakita ko talaga na maganda ang formation. I am for, not only for learning, kasi kung learning lang, uh, I can send my children to any types of schools. Yeah. But because of my love and because of the advantage of a Paulinian education, that's why I had to continue sending my children to a Paulinian school. And you are so fortunate that SPCM is quite close to your residence. Yeah, I understand more than 80% of the parents of SPCM, they're living nearby. The formation, yeah, the relationship between my children and their uh, teachers. 3 days ago, I went to school to get the report cards of my children and of course to pay tuition. I'm so happy because it's the usual warmth of a Paulinian service. that is exhibited by the registrar's office and the finance office. Sabi ko, these are addition to, part of the healing process when the staff, the teacher, the employees of a school, a Polinian school, is showing the parents that they care. Yeah. Parents are teachers, and home is a child's first and most important classroom. This is according to Hillary Clinton. Yeah, I believe our first teachers were our parents. I learned how to count 1 to 10 through my parents. I learned how to read the ABC. The first sentence I wrote, it was taught by my parents. Some stories about science, about faith, uh, my parents taught me first, even before attending school. So now there is this pandemic. Going back to home, coming home. This is like a homecoming, and this is like an articulation of our being parents to once again show to them that we are their first teachers, and we will always be their teachers. We were their first and their last teachers. Yeah. Home is always a learning place. Home is where their heart is. Home is where we are, parents and our children. I'm always reminded by this Bible verse. This is Proverbs 22:6. Also, as a trainer, as a teacher, and a parent, I'm always reminded that I need to train my children. I need to help them. I need to facilitate their transition from their teenage years to their journey in life later. So it says, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. This is also a good, constant reminder that all these things that we do for them, our hard work, our smart work, our activities, our devotion, everything that we do is geared towards preparing them for a better future. So later in life, so they will be more prepared. Whatever journey they will take later, at least we will be confident that because of our love, because of our intervention and assistance, they have become better persons. My formula for choosing a school is not is not about how much how much I will pay, how much tuition the school will charge. My decision was beyond economics. It took me 1 week to finally decide to send back my children to a Polinian school. Over and above economics, it's love. Even though the money is not yet in my hands, I know what will inspire me more to work better as a parent is because of my love for my children. I have a friend who is a pilot. He serves an international airline. His wife is a doctor. Definitely, they're more well off than me. They're both working in very lucrative careers. They have more money. They are rich. Their kids are studying in an international school in Cebu. Yeah, but my friends decided to transfer their children to the public school. Okay, to the public school. And they're telling me, Nako, you can save a lot if you transfer your children to the public school. But I told them, para you know what, uh, in your case, it's okay because you don't see any value added experience. Oh, because you're saying it's all the same. All teachers are having this first experience, so they are not sure if their children will learn better or on par with the other standards of international schools. But I said, it's not learning that I'm after. It is the co-parenting benefit that I derive from a Catholic education, and it's also the prayers from the sisters, the prayers from the teachers that we 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 enjoy. Yeah, and the kind of support, emotional support that the school also extends to my children. I went over the proposed guidance and counseling program for this coming school year, and I'm happy because I'm told that we have parents who are native speakers in English. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm carried away. Yeah. But anyway, so it's really the value of a Paulinian education that sustained me, that inspired me to send back my children to school, despite of several choices and despite of the amount of money I can save. So I said it should be the added value that my children will get from a Paulinian education. I asked some parents regarding their perspective in parenting in the new normal. So they shared to me, one parent shared that whatever the new normal looks like, I think parenting will change. Education will change. We will find out more about what our children need. Okay. Even though these are experienced parents, parent number one has a son who just finished college last year. Okay. And he said, I'm an experienced parent. My eldest child already finished, but it looks like I'm a new parent again. A new parent again. I am listening more to what my children are saying, their feelings, yes, and I'm surprised because the way I expected these things will just normalize in a few months' time. And he told me that even after the lockdown, new experiences are emerging, and we are we are born like new parents. Another parent shared, we're doing okay overall. Even from that most privileged perspective, it's really, really hard. This mom is an affluent mom, yeah, very rich, but still, she's saying, despite of all the privileges we are still experiencing hardship because of the constraints of mobility, yeah, and all other challenges every one of us are facing. Another parent shared, parents are not able to model the tolerance with the anxiety caused by this pandemic because they haven't been through this. Yes, this is the first time that we experience this crisis, and we don't know it when it is ending. And even before the end of this pandemic, we've been hearing some news. Yeah, uh, another disease. Yeah, in this particular country, and another health issue is on the rise. I don't know. So it's very consistent that parents are having a hard time, getting through this. But definitely understanding the situation and by being calm and by being observant, I think we can successfully navigate in this crisis. Another parent friend shared to me, he said, we need to listen to our kids and learn about the world that they're living in so that we can give them the tools that they need. Yeah. Speaking about tools, I mentioned earlier that my daughters are asking me to buy a new laptop each. Uh, it's not easy to buy new gadgets because we are experiencing crisis. But at the end of the day, again, it's love. It's love for my children. It's the love for our children that will compel us to provide the essentials. I find buying laptop not a luxury, but this is a necessity for them to navigate in the new normal. Life skills, they will be helpful in helping my children learn at home. Yes, because if we are sharing gadgets, can you imagine if my daughter will have a class and then I'm also having my work? So who will use my laptop? Will it be them? Will it be me? So I'd rather buy one for each, and never mind. I will draw inspiration from that. So I will work a little harder. I will pray harder that I will have more work so that I can provide for my children. Tools, yeah, gadgets, especially laptop, are now considered life tools. Unboxing the gift of wisdom, a school should not only provide learning experience. First and foremost, it should be a healing experience. Teachers who are not healed will not be able to facilitate learning. And I'm happy to note that Polinian teachers are healed enough because of their retreats, recollection, Christian formation, the constant uh, spiritual interventions. Yes, they are well provided by the administration, by the SPC sisters with their spiritual needs. Yeah, because healing is also coming from the top. So it's passed on from one level to the next. So I'm confident because the teachers are prepared for the school year, both uh, pedagogically and spiritually. I'm confident that my children will experience both a healing and learning experience this coming school year. Another Bible verse that reminds us parents and teachers and administrators is the thing that we do and the kind of support that we provide to our children, teachers providing support to their students, our children, is coming from this Bible verse, Colossians 1:28. It's the maturity and growth and learning in their walk of faith, the maturity in Christ. It says, Colossians 1:28 says, He is the one we proclaim, admonishing and teaching everyone with all wisdom, so that we may present everyone fully mature in Christ. As a healing and learning experience, it's not only the knowledge of the world, but of course, definitely it's a holistic formation that a Paulinian education provides to our children. That is the gift of wisdom. There are issues and concerns that we need to be aware of while our children are learning at home. So, for our children to have fun, to be safe, and to experience healthy learning at home, we need to be oriented, dear parents, that there are physical and mental health hazards, yeah, associated with their experience. So, we need to be careful also and we need to guide them. For example, the screen time. Mayo Clinic of United States confirmed in a study saying that for a grade school up to down to the preschool, the maximum screen time should be 1 hour a day. So teachers need to be reminded also that this time frame is healthy. So beyond 1 hour, it's not healthy anymore. For teenagers, it can go beyond 2 hours a day. No, it can go beyond 1 hour a day, maybe up to 2 hours. Another is research findings saying it's not healthy for our children to be charging their phone near their bed or to keep their gadgets with them under their pillow or closer to their headboard. So it's not healthy. Another concern is the eating disorder. Our children are bombarded with so many food stuff they encounter in their walls. Some of their friends are sharing some gyupsal, all the other yummy food available through Grab Food, Food Panda. So our children have this tendency to overeat. Yeah, let's also watch their consumption pattern. Of course, physical exercise. Are they burning at least 400 calories a day? Teachers should also be reminded that they should not be seated for more than 2 hours, yeah, in class. So teachers should encourage the kids, our children, to stand up, flex, yeah. And of course, mental health. I said earlier it should be healing and learning experience. So let's not pressure our children to achieve higher grades. What's important is they enjoy learning, and what's important is they're coping through learning. My elder daughter was supposed to be in high honors level, but she got a lower grade in one of the subjects. Before, I had this tendency to complain. Yeah, because the grades were really high, but in one subject, she got a low grade. So I said, That's impossible. How come your grades in other subjects are P and A? Why is this AP? But of course, I held back my thoughts and realized, okay, what's more important is at least in the last quarter, my children are safe, my children are happy at home, my children are coping. It's mental health that's more important than grades. Mental health is more important than grades. But of course, we will be happier as parents if they will obtain higher grades. But please don't pressure. Let's not pressure our children to get high grades. Grades are irrelevant. It should be the skills. If our children will be able to cook food for the family, then that's better than having a high grade, but we cannot tell our children to wash the dishes or cook for us. Yeah, mental health is very important. Second is authenticity of learning and integrity of assessments. Although we are encouraged to assist our children, it does not mean that we will be the one to teach them. So the misconception among my friends saying the reason why they transferred their kids to the public school is because we will be the one to pay and yet we will be the one to teach. No, 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 no. The teachers will still teach our children. Our role, guidance, to make sure that they are doing their tasks. But of course, hands off. Meaning, if their teachers will tell them to make projects, it doesn't mean that we will be the one to do the projects. It doesn't mean that we will be the one to to answer the tests. Because as parents, it's also our moral obligation to make learning authentic and to make tests cheat proof. So we are also responsible for developing good habits and ethics among our children. Our children will become managers, leaders of industry. Some of them will be leaders in government. So can you imagine if we will tolerate cheating at home? If we will be the one to answer the test papers? So what are we forming? We will be forming corrupt officials later through their experience at home. So let's ensure that learning is authentic. Let's ensure that there is integrity in testing. Okay? Third is online safety. You know how pop-ups work. If it's possible that we can install a program, an app, or a system, or block certain sites. Yeah, if we can ask our service provider to block certain sites at home. You know, teenagers are experimenting. They're trying new things. Yeah, you know, pornography in the pandemic is very widespread, massive. Yeah. So we need to protect our children so they will not be able to enter those sites. So let's talk to our provider to block those uh, prohibited sites. Online dating, yes, online dating is there. Facebook has a built-in online dating application. We need to safeguard the gadgets, our connectivity at home, without sounding like we are overprotective, without guarding them too much. Of course, we need to explain to them it's because we love them. We don't like that they will experience harassment and bullying online. Okay, so let's provide that safe internet connectivity at home. Another is connectivity and connection. What is the difference between connectivity and connection? Connectivity talks about our ability to get through the ICT system, to use our cell phone to communicate with our family members, with our friends. But connection means what? Regardless of connectivity, regardless of gadget, we have that bond and social connection and relationship between us and our children. So you don't tell your children to wake up using your cell phone. Oh, we need to enter their room, knock first, enter their room. Oh, anak, please wake up. It's time for school. Okay, hug them. Yeah, instead of the usual virtual hug, instead of the usual likes, hearts, and smileys. Let's show the real smiley. Let's show the real high five. Let's show the real thumb up. Yeah, that's what they need. Yeah. So, of course, they need connectivity, but over and above connectivity is it's the connection between us and our children. Another is responsibility and accountability of learners. Let's make them more mature and responsible teenagers. Okay, how do we do that? By helping them not being dependent on their alarm clock. Okay, because anyway we're inside our house, we're living together. Let's train them to program their mind and their body to wake up this particular time because they need to attend their classes. Okay, we need to remind them also, or foster an environment of responsibility by not being there all the time. What do I mean? So every time our children needs us, daddy help me on this, daddy help me on that. Okay, let's also put certain demarcation line when to help them, when not to help them. Sometimes not helping them is also helping them. Like I remember there was one time my daughter was asking me, Daddy, can you please write one paragraph for my homework? Because our teacher is so strict about APA version 6. Instead, I taught my daughters how to apply APA citation in writing term papers and written outputs. So now I'm happy because it's me who's asking them. Okay, Anak, can you please write a one-page article on this? I need this for my presentation. I need this for my handouts. Can you please write and please observe APA citation and referencing standard. Okay, so let's help them to be more accountable to their own learning. Teenagers are supposed to be uh, growing, developing, becoming more mature in their attitude towards learning. Okay, we don't have to yell. We don't have to yell, but we make sure that we understand each other by what we mean being responsible young adult and being accountable to their own learning outcomes. Now the support. I realized in the last 3 years, I've been working so hard for my children. My uh, Sometimes I work 16 to 18 hours a day in the last 2 to 3 years. Because I'm alone, I said, okay, I need to have more money for their college tuition, for their everything, activities, vacations, and so on. I realized I was missing something because there was a time my daughter joined a competition, a dance competition, that I was not able to attend. I missed that opportunity to see my daughter dance, and I realized that she's a good dancer. My goodness, I didn't know that she's a good dancer. So the support that we extend to our children should be beyond material. Of course, material support is important, but our presence, being there, physically, yeah, physical presence is important. No matter how we tell them, I'm busy because this is for your future. No, it doesn't work that way. Family support is first tangible, being there physically. Yeah, I can only imagine had I been there in the venue, clapping for my daughter, and was so proud, shouting and extending support to her. It could have been different. There was one time she told me, Daddy, you missed a very important event in my life. This we should not miss again. We need to be there. They need our hug, our high five physically. So, over and above material support, our physical presence means a lot. Then, how to ensure safe, healthy, and fun learning at home? I coined an acronym. It's collaborate. Repeat, collaborate. What does C stand? C means communicate with teachers and guidance counselors. Let's not wait that the teachers of our children will communicate to us, because sometimes when they communicate, it's either there's something wrong or there's a concern. But if we can constantly communicate with the teachers, regardless if there's a problem, example, Miss, what are the competencies that my daughter need to master next week? How can I help her? Okay? Because sometimes when we communicate to teachers, it's most of the time it's a matter of big issues and problems. This time, in the new normal, let's communicate, because we need to be more in touch and more involved in the lives of our children. Communicating to teachers, please, let's not be harsh. Let's also communicate with teachers out of love. They also need support. Let's tone down our voice, because sometimes when parents will call the teachers, they're so aggressive. Please, let's also say hi and hello. Let's ask their situation. Because if we will support the teachers, they will also support our children. I believe in the saying that love begets love. If you love your children, definitely you will love their teachers. The teachers are also like our family members. The administrators are our relatives. They are our cousins. They are not strangers, because they are helping our children grow in faith, grow as adolescents. Okay, let's communicate with love. Why do we need to communicate with the guidance counselors of our children? Of course, we are not trained, unless you are a psychiatrist, we are not trained to deal with mental issues or behavioral issues. So from time to time, instead of uh, shouting at our daughter or son because he said something that irritated us or annoyed us or made us feel bad, instead, let's note it down and call the counselor. Miss, I experienced yesterday. My elder son shouted at me. What shall I do? Sometimes we cannot hold our temper, especially when the uh, payments of our dues are getting closer. Yeah, I can only imagine, because last time when I paid our Meralco, Globe, and other bills, our association dues, oh my goodness, what a big loss of money. So I was a little frantic, and I was so anxious at that time. So there was a time I remember I almost shouted back at my elder daughter. Yeah, communicate with the teachers, communicate with the administrators, communicate with the guidance counselors. Organize our home and work activities. We should program the activities that we do for our work, for our company, for our business, because our decisions, our activities will also affect the decisions and activities of our children. The use of space. Yeah. Example, if our child is tasked to do a TLE meaning our child will use the kitchen for cooking, for knife skills, stocks and sauces, whatever. What if we will cook our favorite dish? So there will be a friction between us and our child. So it's better for us to organize our home and work activities, and we will also involve our children, because we don't know what they will do in that particular week. Okay? They might have some performance tasks that require also our presence. For example, if the teacher will ask, with your mother or with your father, you do this activity. So what if we are busy, we have deadlines? So we need to program our activities ahead of time. That's also the essence of why we need to communicate to the teachers. Okay? Number three, let us listen to our children. How do we listen? Let us use our heart first before our ears. Let's listen to what they're saying. Because these kids, these adolescents, they are they're saying one thing and they mean it another. Okay? Their language is different. Let's listen using our heart and then our ears and then our mind. Let's listen last using our body, meaning how do we respond? Even our stance, our facial expression should be appropriate to the kind of behavior or action or reaction that they need from us. Okay? Let's avoid replying to our children, it's okay, it's okay. There are times that not being okay is okay. They also need to express their emotions. Okay? So it doesn't help if we always say it's okay, anak, it's okay. No. Let's listen. Number 4, learn new parenting skills. As I said, I'm always learning every day. There is no university for parents. There is no baccalaureate degree or master's or PhD degree for parents. We learn it out of experience. So let our experience every day be a learning experience. There's always an opportunity for us to acquire new skill set as parents. Let us not compare our past because we were raised kind of parents. Probably you were raised by baby boomer parents or even older parents. Yeah. This generation, they're not supposed to experience sleepers, belt, and hangers. Yeah. Let's talk. Let's acquire that effective communication skills. The reason why I'm befriending the friends of my children is because I'm also learning from the friends of my children. For example, I will ask this friend, what do you think my daughter likes? Because sometimes our children will not tell us. They'd rather tell their friends. So it's a great advantage on my part because several of my daughter's friends are my friends also on Facebook and Instagram. So I can I'm not stalking. There are some feeds that help me realize, okay, 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 okay. There was one time my daughter wanted to buy this army bomb. What's that? The BTS thing. It's like a ball with lights. I didn't know how important that one is to them, their generation. I was thinking it's an additional expense. It's 2,000 or more than 2,000 pesos. What will you do with that? But their online community, they watched this concert the other week. Good thing she has a spare money, so she just bought that thing from her own pocket. My elder daughter knows how to save because I taught her how to save. If I don't have that kind of parenting skill, the ability to understand what they enjoy best, okay, within the boundaries of what is permissible, then I would have been reacting so differently, or maybe we will have an argument, or that will end up uh, another friction between us and my daughter, and a lot more skills, better ways of saying things, of doing things. Yeah, every day is a learning experience. Let's ask from other parents. How do they do with the things that they do at home? How they deal with their children? Yeah. Because one parent has a distinct quality or a characteristic that is not present in another. Okay? And besides, there are no perfect parents. We cannot be perfect parents, but we can only be better versions of ourselves. We can always be better parents, but we will not be the best parents, okay? We will be better parents. Let's ask from one another. We have this online community. I organized this online community for single fathers because in the Philippines, if we talk about solo parents, what's very popular are single mothers. Uh, I feel I was so marginalized when I first applied for a solo parent card. Yeah, up to now I don't have that. I will go back to DSWD. Even this pandemic, solo parents received subsidy from government. I did not get one. The single moms, yes, they got, but me, single dad, I did not. I did not receive any. So yun, I asked, we have this community, we talk. Pare, how do you do this? How do you do that? Um, it was funny, my experience buying baby bra for my daughters. And it was an awkward situation too. The first time I bought sanitary pad, people around there looking at me. They're, oh, I said for my daughter, for my daughter. Also, the first time I bought a real bra. Yeah. So I know the sizes now. I know what is cotton is soft. I know all these things. I asked some female parents. Yeah. So I learned from them also. Then you break monotony. Break monotony. Even your food, it should not be highly predictable. Sometimes at home we are so comfortable with the same food over and over. Yeah, adobo, fried chicken, and so on and so forth. Believe me, if you have a teenage daughter, Korean food, if not Japanese food, they like it. So I also learned how to cook beef bulgogi, japchae. I learned how to prepare this maki rolls. But of course, they taught me because they know better in preparing this food. Okay, break monotony. You also need to learn new language. The new word I learned this week is awit. Awit. So when my daughter heard me saying that, Daddy, you know that? Okay. Awit. Do you know what is awit? Ouch! It hurts. Yeah, awit. To break monotony, there are several ways of breaking monotony. You can watch Netflix together. Okay. Uh, if you have space or a garden, you can have your breakfast in the garden or lunch. Okay. What else? Explore other possibilities because if you don't break monotony, it's going to be very stressful. We don't know when this pandemic will end, but we will know how to remedy the situation by breaking monotony. All right, letter O. Objectively monitor, assess, and evaluate progress of your. Let's not be like police officers, PDI. Objectively, let's also give our feedback instead of saying, you know, your teacher, she doesn't know how to teach. That's why you got zero. Let's first scrutinize what happened. Oh, anak, son, oh, daughter, can we please review why you incurred this score, very low score? Let's examine if indeed your proficiency level is really low and does not match with the result of your examination. Okay, so we need to objectively monitor, assess, and evaluate the progress of our children. Let's not get angry right away to the teachers of our children. Let's verify first. Let's ask the teachers. Teacher, I understand you are busy, but can you please give me a bit of your time? I need to understand how my daughter or my son fared in her exam or performance task. So you objectively monitor, assess, and evaluate the progress of your children. You also ask your child, okay, what were the things that you missed in your examination? What lessons do you think you need to improve more? Or how much time do you need so you can demonstrate proficiency in this particular learning outcome? Letter R, refrain from being overprotective. I was reading a book uh, 2 months ago regarding the quest of freedom among the teenagers. One thing that struck me most was this is the stage in their life that they are becoming more detached with family affairs. This is the time that they want to attend masses on their own. They want to travel alone. They want to be more with their friends. Okay. Before the lockdown, it was a signal that I should stop holding the hands of my children in public. Not because my children don't love me anymore, but because it's awkward already for them. Do you remember when was the last time you kissed the lips of your children? Me, I remember grade before grade 5. Yeah, I think grade 4, yes. And then the last time I kissed their cheeks in public was last year. Last year. The last time that I did not wait for them in the company of their friends, last year. So now I'm confident that they can already take the grab. Yeah, they can go home alone. Yeah, because I taught them how to be independent. Okay? We can openly discuss about crushes. You should also feel the same because you've been through the same experience. Even I was younger than their age when I had my first crush, my first puppy love. Okay, so uh, let's refrain from being overprotective, but of course let's guide them. Affirm your love and respect for your children. You don't have to say it verbally, but action speaks louder than words. Our nonverbal cues are strong indication uh, of affirming our love for them. Respect, yeah, begets respect. So let's knock on the door of our children before we enter, okay? So they will also knock on our door. Trust the teaching learning process. The teachers of our children are trained. Okay, let's not overreact. Let's refrain from complaining. Some parents are routing a paper. Yeah, 2 weeks ago, the parents of my daughter's classmates were routing a paper asking the parents to sign and complain to DepEd. But you know what I found out? That St. Paul's School is even reducing the fees. That school is very serious about training teachers. That school is also providing the same Christian formation as before. So I have no reason for me to sign in that petition because I'm happier now. The school is slashing, I think, X percent. I cannot tell you because Sister SP might feel like increasing your the fees. But anyway, I'm saying at least out of love, the administration of that Polina school is so sensitive enough to reduce the fees. Whereas other schools, they're adding more. Yeah, they're adding more. The reason naman, I understand that school, some private schools are adding more in their fees because it's harder to operate now. The class size were reduced and then additional services from the guidance, from the IT, and they hired additional staff. So I understand why they are increasing their fees. But of course, us Polinian parents, parents of Polinian students, we should be happy because Polinian sisters are reducing our fees and they are extending a more sensible preparation for the teachers. In turn, let's trust the teaching and learning process. These teachers were not hired only yesterday. I heard SPCM did not retrench teachers and employees. They are keeping the teachers. So they are trained. Okay. Tomorrow, they will have a training on authentic learning and cheat-proof assessment. Yon. So be happy because the administration of SPCM is conscious enough to care for your children. And therefore, from our end, let's trust the teaching learning process. Let's enjoy the company of our family. Yeah, as I said, this is a blessing. Being with my children is a blessing. You can pillow fight instead of fighting. Yeah, pillow fight. Enjoy eating your uh, favorite food with your children. There will never be another time like this, okay? That we are uh, given the privilege by God to enjoy the company of our children. Let's be happy that we are not in the hospital. Let's be happy that we are inside our home, safe, healthy, smiling, sharing the joys of our children. Yeah, I'm sharing this with you. It's called Dates, Daily Achievement and Task Execution Schedule. This will help me balance my activities at home as I also guide my children as they learn online. Example, August 24, morning activities, praying and quiet time. Then I will have a 15-minute exercise, prepare breakfast, have a breakfast, and then prepare the living room for my kids' first day of classes. In the afternoon, my plan is to finish report that's expected to be submitted to the assistant vice president the following day, but I need to target it in the afternoon of 24. Then I will watch Pay It Forward for my daughter's performance task in Araling Panlipunan. I will take a nap after, yeah. In the evening, rosary with family, check the performance tasks of my children, attend online reunion with my high school classmates. So that's it. There may not be a 50-50 balance in our work and life at home. But definitely there will be a closer balance. At least with these dates, I can easily program my activities while I support my children to learn at home. Caritas Christi Urgit Nos, what we do is for the glory of God and for our love for our children. Thank you very much, and I will now entertain questions if there are any.
Thank you, Dr. Hermano, for sharing your time and sharing your expertise with us. I personally learned a lot, and I am sure our dear parents do the same. Thank you for emphasizing that our love for our children is a concrete manifestation that we can do everything for them. That we shall now proceed to the question and answer portion. You may use the chat feature for your questions.
Based on the comment box, I think they are more particular with the details of operational details for this coming school year, coming from the plans and programs of the school.
All right. All
I,
right.
Miss Pinky, I'd like to answer the question from Sir Jigs Ison. Yeah. Uh, are you doing this every day? Task 5 days a week? You don't feel burnout? Yes. Yes. Since March, sir, since March 16.
Are there other questions, dear parents? I would like to read this. Thank you, Coach. Very full info. And the, all right. Another thank you, Coach. If there are no more questions, it was a meaningful conversation with you, Dr. Hermano. I can truly say that your sharing relieved us with our worries and predicaments as we embark on a new phase of learning. Thank you so much for enlightening us and for making us realize that there is fun in learning even in the comfort of our. You have turned our worries into challenges for the formation and education of our children. We are beyond grateful. Thank you so much, Dr. Hermano.
Thank you very much.
All right, dear parents, to break the monotony, we will have a short stretching exercise. By the way, this will also be a sample way of capturing our students' attention during the online sessions. You may turn on your camera and join me do the exercise. I'll do it first and follow after me, dear parents. Could you see me? May I ask you to open your cameras, please, dear parents? Hi. Kindly show a thumbs up if you see me, please. Come on, dear parents, let's do it. Okay, raise your hands. Stand up first, dear parents. Raise your hands. Shake it 10 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then do this action while saying, do this action. Are you ready? Okay. We can do it. Together, let's do it. Stand again, dear parents. Say hi. Wave to the camera. Wave to me. All right. Raise your hands. Let's shake them together 10 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And let's say we can do it. Together again. Stand, dear parents. Say hi to the camera. Say hi to teacher Pinky. Say hi to Miss Pinky. Hey, raise your hands. Let's shake them together 10 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And finally, let's say we can do it. Yes, very good, dear parents and sisters. I grade you a 10 out of 10 from our stretching exercise. Did you enjoy our stretching exercise? I hope so. That was, oh, I'm so happy. A parent said that was fun. And you'll expect more fun exercises while we are doing the online classes, dear parents. Hi, I'm from Nueva Ecija. Wow, hello there. Let's go Team HS. And of course, let's go Team St. Paul Makati. Let's say it. Go St. Paul. Do it, parents. Go St. Paul. Wow, again, louder. Again, louder. Go St. Paul. Go St. Paul. Yes, thank you, dear parents. Let's clap our hands together. Okay. Dear parents and guardians, I know you all have been waiting and craving for this academic orientation. The best person who could give us a clearer picture of our program offerings, curriculum, and a detailed description of the HIL program is an educator with the Ministry of Yes. The educator who never gets tired of working, even in the wee hours of the night. The educator who is always passionate in teaching, and you know that, dear parents. Let us welcome Mr. Raymond Andre Samonte, our Assistant Academic Services Head.
Good morning, our dear parents. Welcome to St. Paul College of Makati. On behalf of the school, I would like again to give you my warm welcome or my virtual hugs for you. I know that you have been waiting for this moment. We are also seeing the chat box, and there is a clamor also for doing the online orientation. However, we would like to point out that the speaker had been invited for us to have a proper mindset. I know that we have our own mindsets right at this point since we are experiencing the pandemic. But more importantly, we should have a proper mindset for the education of our children. So to start, the acronym HEAL or HEAL would stand for the home-based engagements and alternative learning program. So there are more likely two main ideas for the HEAL program. Number one is that they are done at home, which is for the home-based engagement. For the alternative learning, we have to create and find means and ways on how we could deliver education. So this is actually the mantra of the Department of Education. If you try to hear certain pronouncements from the Department of Education, we would more likely have to continue education. And education is not confined on the four corners of the classroom or in school. Learning can take place in many ways or in many places, and one of which is at home. In fact, if we hear our speaker a while ago, learning would start really from home. We had learned the basic alphabets, we had learned the basic shapes and colors at home. The rationale for this HEAL program is to continue education despite the ongoing pandemic while observing proper health protocols. Through this, the school will be able to adjust the curriculum, the educational services and processes to deliver alternative learning setups as the school faces the new normal and other possible similar future scenarios. So this program would have to take a look deeper into the school operations. We cannot just do online curriculum without having online enrollment or educational processes and services. So later on during the orientation, you would see that we have transitioned almost all of our educational services and processes online as well. Now, this HEAL program may also be used later on for other similar future scenarios. The COVID pandemic is not the end or is not the last health concern that we might be facing, so the school would have to better prepare. The curriculum would be the same except for some subjects. So the same set of subjects are applied except for robotics for grades 4 to 12, research for grades 7 to 10, and swimming for grades 3 to 12. The different set of subjects will be discussed during the student orientation. So aside from the parents' orientation today, we would also be setting up a student orientation. Distinguished curriculum, science curriculum, will not be implemented this year. This is for economic purposes as well. And we are also adhering to the minimum learning, most essential learning competencies prescribed by the Department of Education. The senior high school immersion program will focus instead on the home-based capstone projects, simulations, and culminating activity. So they will not be undergoing the work immersion program in the industry. Instead, they would have capstone, simulations, and culminating activity. The instructional delivery, to give you an overview, is really a combination of offline and offline works. So it's actually not correct or technically correct if we just say online learning. What we more adhere to, as the primer would say, is a combination of both. One is online distance learning. This is using online learning platforms for lectures, learning tasks, or learning engagements, and other learning activities. For example, you are asked to have the essay or to write an essay. Instead of usually writing it on a piece of paper, usually for online learning, we could have online platforms, or they may do the essay online. For home-based learning, these are printed learning modules, which are offline and done at home with the use of our teacher-made learning packets. Now, it's always a combination of both. Whenever the students have their learning sessions, you would notice that not all the time the children are focused on the screen. Instead, it's more of video conferencing, lectures that may be done online, and other exercises that may be done at home-based learning. Now, to give you a sample of one of the pedagogies that we will be using for online distance learning, I would be sharing my screen, and I would like you to go to www.menti.com and put a certain pin code as soon as I would be sharing my screen to you. And I would like you to have or to input at least 3 words on your thoughts about online learning. Okay, so we'll just do this for for about less than 3 minutes. So I would be sharing my screen to you now. Okay. Miss Pinky, can you confirm if you could see the Mentimeter?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So in here, you have www.menti.com. Okay. Um, for those who are accessing their laptops, you may do this on a separate tab. For those who are using their cell phones, you may also do them if you can. So I would like you to have 3 words or ideas for online learning. Okay, may we start at least? I'll give you 1 minute. Y- You would notice later on that there would be a word cloud to be presented or that can be seen. Okay, so as soon as a person or a student had plugged in or had input their outputs or rather their ideas, you could already see yan. So you have internet, it's self-directed, technology. You have also timely, online, relevant. Yan. So these are actually ideas coming from you and it's real-time based. So this is one of the ways by which we could also elicit collaboration and communication, even if we are doing this virtually. So this may now be a springboard for education for the learners and for the teachers as well. So the main idea, you would see there that technology has a bigger font size. It means that most of the responses given would be about technology. So your main idea or main consideration when we talk of online learning is actually technology. The second largest would be online. Okay? I love to see the word happy, wonderful, and safer. It, it really is in line with our HEAL program. So as we go along, you would see later on that as ideas repeat from the learners, the word cloud changes. So this is just one of the pedagogies or teaching strategies that we will be using for online learning. Okay, thank you very much for those who responded. I am really happy that you are a part of online learning. Okay, so that's one of the ways that we could enjoy online learning. So I will stop the presentation and continue with our orientation. Thank you very much, dear parents. Okay, I am just waiting for the slideshow. I'll just read some. Yes, the slides will be given to the student account so that all of you could also refer to the presentations as on your own pace. So let me continue. So that's for the instructional delivery. Now, also in our continuity learning program, there is what we call a hybrid learning, wherein um, there is now a combination of online, home-based, and on-site classes. One of the most common inquiries that we have been getting is that can we do full online for the whole year? Again, this is just a part of the plan. The default instructional delivery method that we will be using is online and home-based. So hybrid learning will only be done if the situation is already safe for the learners. As you notice in the news, we are continually having more positive infections. So as it is, we are geared towards planning for the full year implementation for the online distance and home-based learning, as mentioned also by our Directress Principal, Sister Esperanza. Now, students can learn in two ways, either in asynchronous or asynchronous learning. When we talk of asynchronous learning, this means that the teacher and the student are online, okay, for lectures, learning tasks, and other means. Now, even if they are both online, the teachers and the students can also do offline tasks using the learning packets that we had made. For asynchronous learning, we also have the learners can also access both online materials and offline materials at their own pace and availability. So for synchronous learning sessions, the duration of the subject would be, for the early years, it's 60 minutes, grades 1 to 3, 90 minutes, and grades 4 to 12, 120 minutes. This means that per subject, you would have about, for the high school, you have about 120 minutes, but not all of the time not all of the time they are on screen. So as I've mentioned, even if they are both online, the students can still use offline tasks or the learning packets. For example, a teacher would be doing a video conference. Now, for the first hour, they may do different interactive learning exercises online. The next half would be work exercises, and the teachers would just be there to monitor the students. So in this way, immediate feedback can be given to the students. Now, there would be also AM and PM sessions. This is to minimize also or to lessen the class ratio during online sessions and to be more effective in the learning delivery as well. Now, you might ask, how do you know that if you would be an AM or a PM session? We would be assigning students whether you are going for AM or PM sessions. We are also accommodating certain requests from the parents if they can do only AM or PM. This may be done due to valid reasons. For example, in terms of work schedule, I understand that many of the parents are working and some of them are more available in the PM to in the afternoon session to assist their children, or some of them may be more available in the morning. Another reason, a possible reason, would be sharing of gadgets. Children, or rather families who have two or more siblings at SPCM, may share gadgets. For example, one sibling or one child will be enrolled in the AM session and another child for the PM session. Now, in this scenario, we would just like to request the parents to make a formal request in the different emails that we will be posting later on. The asynchronous learning session is usually scheduled on a Tuesday and a Thursday. Specific set of subjects of online and home-based learning tasks are also given. I would be sharing later on a sample schedule for the learners. Actual schedule will be discussed during the homeroom advisors orientation with the students. Now, you would see later on in the class schedules that there are mentoring, coaching, and consultation periods. This is usually done at the end of the day. These are periods for number one, teachers to give feedback on student outputs. For example, an essay was asked or was assigned to the students, and the teacher can give immediate feedback on those student outputs on how they can be improved. Next, to monitor the submission of outputs. Next is to provide expanded opportunities for learners. This may be done through reteaching or through providing more exercises for them to better learn the subject. Another is for students to consult specific teachers. For example, the students are finding difficulty in math, so he or she may ask more information or more references or resources from the teachers. Now, the students may also consult our guidance office, which will be later discussed. And also, this is a time for parents to consult the teachers on the child's performance. So how can this be done? This may be done via video conferencing or via email or on our direct messaging on the online learning platforms that we will be mentioning later on. Now, these are the sample schedules for grades 7 to 10. You would see that on Tuesdays and Thursdays are home-based tasks, meaning they are not required to be online. This is also to help the parents manage their resources. Now, for Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, you would see there that the subjects are distributed within the week. On Fridays, usually we have our Polinian hour or practical life skill sessions, which will be discussed later on. You would also notice that there would be two sets or two sessions that will be conducted. Actual time may still vary depending on the actual schedule that we will be discussing with the students. So this is just to give you an idea on how it will be. So between the classes, there would also be 30-minute break, again, to break the monotony, and of course, for other basic needs as well. Now, you would notice on the upper left corner, you would see that there is week 1, a different schedule for week 1, and a different schedule for week 2. There would be shifting of subjects for week 1, meaning you have the same subjects for week 1 and 3, and another for week 2 and week 4. For the senior high school, since they are divided by subjects or they have a different subjects per quarter, they would only have the same subjects per week. Now, to develop more resilient or to develop resilient and mindful Polinians, we had come up with a certain program, or we included in the program Polinian hour sessions to identify and develop characteristics of a Polinian graduate. These sessions may include psycho-spiritual activities, faith-sharing experiences, community prayer, and in-depth internalization, discussion, and sharing also of the SPC history. Also, one of the things that we might do are activities for spirituality in the new normal and other embedded GMRC or Good Moral and Right Conduct sessions as mandated by RA 11476. Life skills sessions or practical life skills will also be included in our schedule. This is an opportune time for students to learn more practical life skills. I would understand that some parents might have difficulty asking the students to do their household chores. This time around, they will be forced to wash the dishes, probably clean their own rooms to help, of course, in the skills needed for life. So this also varies according to grade level. So for the early years or for our young Polinians, self-help or grooming is important or is more emphasized on. And then also going into basic household chores, basic cooking and baking, time management, first aid for higher levels, and basic financial literacy skills and other topics as well. We would be inviting resource persons, or some of them are our own teachers, in terms of delivering instructions during life skill sessions and the Polinian Hour. So this is an opportune time really for them not only to learn academically, but for their formation to still be holistic even at their homes. Now, the online class ratio has been reduced in order to be more effective in managing online learning classes. The student-teacher ratio will be adjusted to a smaller ratio. Actual ratio varies on the enrollment, but should not be more than 1 is to 30, meaning one teacher is to 30 students. For early years, it would be 1 is to 5. For grades 1 to 3, 1 is to 10. Grades 4 to 6, 1 is to 15. Grades 7 to 10, 1 is to 20. This would enable the ratio would enable us to manage the class online more effectively and to do the online and to utilize rather the online learning platforms and monitor their learning as well. Learning pockets would contain lecture, tasks, assessments aligned to learning outcomes per quarter. So the learners would be given printed hard copies, learning packets per quarter. It may be picked up from the school or have it couriered to your homes. Now, one of the questions that we had yesterday, what if the parents or the family is still in the province, then we could make certain arrangements and accommodations for them. But then again, it has to be in a formal writing so that we could address the concern. Distribution and retrieval dates will be scheduled and announced in our online learning platforms. We are targeting the distribution for the first quarter learning packet either by the last week of July or the first week of August. This is a sample, the front page, you would see there, the student learning packet. It also contains a learning engagement playlist. What is a learning engagement playlist? It is a list or the set of activities that the students will be doing as they go along the modules. So for example, you would see there video lessons and PowerPoint presentations, worksheets, simulations also. So that is actually the first page so that students and parents can see what are the different things that they will be doing per quarter. Now, the learning tasks are aligned to the Polinian learning outcomes. So you would see there, if I would go back to the previous slide, on the first column, we have certain codes for our outcomes in order for us to be more aligned with the Polinian learning outcomes and the most essential learning competencies. Now, what if another concern that parents might have, what if there is no internet connection or the internet connection is not stable? All learners will be given on the go rather, flash drive, which will contain the soft copies of the learning packets, the teacher-made presentations, and other learning resources. You may just plug it in your computer units or in your cell phones having a micro USB port. We would appreciate if you are using a different port for your mobile phones to buy your own adapters. This is just to ensure that learning can take place even if internet connectivity is not possible. So again, we are on the mantra that learning can take place even at home. Now, other than the learning packet, the on-the-go flash drive, The students will also be receiving a learning journal. Each student will have a journal wherein they would log and monitor their targets and learning experiences that would help them develop their learning outcomes. So usually in the learning journal, there are learning targets that they would like to achieve either per week or per month, and they would be logging these things that they did rather in order for them to develop the learning outcomes. This would also serve as one of the bases for the conduct rating. Now, the online learning platforms would also come with the online distance learning. So for early years to grade 10, that would be for Genyo, or you would be using Genyo as had been previously used already. For the senior high, we have the Schoology. For the video conferencing platform, we would be using Google Meet. Now, most of us are using already our G Suite account. You would notice also that there are some parents that had been rejected actually in this meeting because they have been using their personal emails. So in this scenario, we would be more secured if we would be using a G Suite for Education account. So for today, we actually admitted some of the parents that had used actually because it prompts also on the organizer if the email address is not within the organization of St. Paul College of Makati. But for those who joined using the G Suite account, they are automatically admitted. So this would also allay our fears in terms of data privacy concerns. So as mentioned, all students are given a G Suite for Education account. This would also be our way to communicate with you, also the administration and the management, by giving you circular letters and updates from time to time. Video conferences are an integral part of the instructional delivery. So before, for those of our parents who are somehow aware in terms of the online learning, before we are just using the teachers more likely are using online learning platforms for file sharing. For example, using just their presentations and giving it to the students. So this time around, it would not be the case anymore. Instead, video conferences for both lecture and consultations would be done. Also, the interactive e-pedagogies or strategies, just like the one that we used a while ago, the Mentimeter, are an integral part of instructional delivery. Video meetings per learning session are actually recorded and kept by the teacher. Now, this may pose a data privacy issue to you, but please take note that no other students can access it except for the teacher. This is just done in case that students have missed something. Now, they could only access the video meetings upon formal request. Okay. Anyway, in the video meetings, what they could just see would be the teacher, the presenter, whoever is presenting, and the one who is speaking. The rest of the students around, they will not be seeing even if their cameras are turned on. All right. For the assessments, formative and summative assessments are more geared towards the skill-based and performance-based outputs to develop intake learning. Assessments are also included in the learning pockets. So in terms of the different materials that we would be using for our performance-based tasks, we instructed the teachers to utilize home-based materials, of course, for the family and the learner's safety. Some of them may also be done online, which does not need any more physical materials. Please take note also that academic, conduct, and special awards are suspended temporarily. This is due to the fact that we cannot assure the authenticity of outputs and access to learning. So some of the Polinian families may have more access to more learning resources. But this time around, since we are on a pandemic and we are more concerned with learning outcomes, um, we deemed it necessary to suspend the special awards. So we are geared towards learning rather than the special awards. Monitoring checklists for submission of outputs will also be done. One of the comments I saw here is how would the parents know um, in terms of the submission of outputs, how many or probably the monitoring of the submission of outputs of their children. We actually had devised a way on how to monitor them, and this checklist would also be provided to the parents so that we could also help us monitor them. Now, SPCM also puts prime importance on academic excellence and integrity. We believe that even if we are doing online learning, we could them to be mindful and directed learners. Therefore, all submitted outputs will follow an honesty pledge system attested by students and parents. So, our dear parents, one of our roles now is to also sign the honesty pledge. Students must also uphold intellectual property rights in their outputs, since in the internet, there are a lot of resources around. But remember, there are not all of them, or rather some of them have certain copyrights. Proper citations and online and written outputs must be presented. This will also be a part of the student orientation later on. Now, for the academic integrity, this is a sample honesty pledge. So you might be seeing some of this, the honesty pledge system. So the parents would be also signing. So it's pledging that the student had done this task independently with little or no supervision or with minimal supervision. This is to also attest by them for themselves to develop personal honesty and integrity. As what we have been saying and seen in our school campus, Paulinians are honest. Now, let me give you certain time for the computer unit system requirements. Please take note that this is just a minimal system requirement. Now, if you have already computer units that have lower specifications in just like what it was stated, it may still work, though we might have certain concerns on some of the programs for the high school. But for the grade school, even if you, for example, even if the RAM, for example, is just 2 gigabytes, it would still run, or you could still do the different tasks for the ICT subjects. For the different software programs, this is just the same slides that we have been presenting to our official FB page and to our student primer. You also have the minimum requirement for the devices when accessing online learning platforms. So we have Genio and then the Schoology. They both can be accessed using a computer unit or through your mobile phones or through your tablets. All right, for the textbooks, textbooks would serve as the main reference of learning. It will be reduced to the main core subjects, which is the English, Filipino, math, and science. Parents have the option to pick it up from the school or to be couriered to their homes. If I understand some of the parents would say, previously the textbooks have not been utilized. And this time around, we had designed the learning packets to utilize the textbooks. For example, the learning packets would deal with, or would rather have instructions which parts of the textbooks should be read and should be done as a worksheet to be submitted online, for example. Okay, so this time around, please do not worry because we had designed the learning packets around these textbooks for the senior high school because we believe that senior high school or the higher levels have more capacity to search for the information on their own and have more resources also later on as presented in our library. The textbooks are optional for them. Now, what about the role of parents and guardians this time? We had dubbed it into an acronym of SPCM. The role of parents now would be supporters, providers, collaborators, and monitors of learning. So as supporters, we are to support the learner's mental health. As emphasized also by Dr. Dennis a while ago, mental health is also important. It's not enough that we just provide them with laptop, with internet connectivity, but also getting communication or a talk with them would help them be more stable or be more aware of their mental health. It is also to give assistance to learners in navigating the online learning platforms, especially for early years to grade 3. As a provider, the parents would give primary needs such as stable network and technical support, provide learning spaces conducive for learning, more likely a table, a chair, a well-ventilated and lighted area. As a collaborator, they may now act as co-facilitators for the learning resources. They may be also co-monitors of learning outputs or requirements. As mentioned in the honesty pledge, this is one of the ways that we could help the learners also in monitoring their submitted outputs. Collaborates with teachers on student learning during mentoring, consultation sessions, and they may also be co-assessors of learning. In the student learning journal, we will be providing also a checklist for the parents. For example, are they praying also at night, or are they doing their prayers? Are they doing their household chores, etc.? These are behaviors that we cannot see in school. So parents may now act as co-assessors of learning. Parents and guardians may also act as monitors to monitor the child's screen time. Remember that since they are now more exposed to the online activities, we somehow would request you to monitor them, provide also certain features for them. An advice also coming from the IT department is that if they are using a laptop, we could set certain restrictions like providing them a child account for example, in Mac or in Windows, a child account. So it has more restrictions. Or if you go further in your web routers, you could also block certain websites that they could not go into. So in this matter, you may also communicate with our IT department, and they would be gladly to help you out. In terms also the monitoring of the child's schedule. I saw a comment a while ago, can the school have the schedule synced with the student's calendar? Definitely the school's calendar can be synced with the student's calendar using the G Suite account. That's one of the reasons why we put up the G Suite accounts as well. Next is the school calendar of activities. I think I mentioned this one. To sign the honesty pledge and to monitor also online activities of the children. we might not know how the children behave online. Also, a part of this is the netiquette, the student behavior, or in the netiquette behavior of the learners. Also for the parents, no, the netiquette behavior of the parents. You would see later on that there are certain comments uh, that are negative in nature, and it goes larger. So as Polinians and as peace-loving Polinians, we usually direct our concerns to the administration. No, so if you would notice also in the social media, we do not reply much on the concerns if it is posted publicly. We reply them privately. Online activities of the children, especially against cyberbullying, pornography, data phishing, um, nets for this or safety nets for this will be discussed during the student orientation. For the parent support, orientation to the learning management systems will be scheduled on how to navigate the online learning platforms. So we are currently organizing a training or a reorientation training for the learning management systems. I would see certain comments here also that um, how to access on the online learning platforms, we would be doing a certain reorientation or an orientation program for this. Even the video conferencing also. And of course, netiquette for parents, because as a personal experience in the past few days, I am also assisting the parents. How will they access certain like the G Suite account or for their online enrollment? Sometimes parents, I was the one personally answering the questions, no, because I would also like to see your comments firsthand. Life skill sessions would also help the parents in technology literacy or in other means. So parents, you are also a part of our life skills learning sessions. Online technical support will also be available for parents to access the different learning platforms and software, especially in terms of navigation. For parents and learner support, since we may not be all the time be there to assist you, please feel free to email the teachers and offices for your concerns. Please just take note to maintain courtesy and allot ample time to respond for us to respond to inquiries. Some of the emails that I have been receiving also would be um, they are sent, for example, they are sent at 12 midnight, and some of the parents are already asking for responses. So just give us a certain amount of time. We would highly appreciate if you ask your questions during office hours as well, because our teachers or our staff also have to balance their work and family time. But more likely, we would answer your questions. Please just give us an ample time to respond to them. Now, what about the learner's roles? The learner's roles would be to be on time for online synchronous classes. Miss Pinky had mentioned a while ago that in the chat box that the students would be wearing their proper school uniform. I think certain arrangements or accommodations may be done with proper approval from the directress. So I think the chat box be informed in formal writing as mentioned in the chat box a while ago, if I am correct in seeing the replies a while ago. We would understand also if the hairstyle, especially for the boys, is currently long, but we recommend to have them as clean and as neat as possible. So this is just to give them or to establish discipline and routine. Remember that they are still learning. It's just that the atmosphere had changed. So the proper uniform and how they dress up or they groom themselves is still a part of learning. And of course, as Polonians, we should be presentable all the time. So be responsible also and be independent in learning. Though there are consultation periods put up, it's still depending on the learners how will learning take place. Communicate with teachers and parents regularly and observe proper etiquette. So for the learner support, for the general inquiries, you may send them at info@spcmakati.edu.ph, for school records and documents to the registrar, for admission and guidance services to the guidance center and the technical support. Now, later on, you would hear how we had transitioned to online, our student services to online. Now, what about the school preparations? SPCM had adjusted its health protocols for its employees and facilities in accordance to IATF and DepEd guidelines. The teachers have been attending different webinars and trainings to acquire knowledge and skills to conduct online learning. Some of the parents are asking me, are the teachers really prepared? Just to give you a personal experience, I myself did not actually have my so-called vacation. During this time of the pandemic, teachers are all actually busy attending webinars because there are different free webinars here and there provided by the different companies, publishing companies. So I myself had attended about 10 already during this time. And I watched also for the teachers because they are also giving me feedbacks on what they had learned. So in this scenario, in terms of the knowledge acquisition, the teachers are well fed and well prepared. It's up to now how we develop the skills in doing the online learning. That's why we are also conducting trainings for the teachers within SPCM for us to develop our skills for online learning. Teachers are currently finishing the first quarter learning packet. So these are just some of the pictures that the school is doing to prepare or to adapt to this new so-called new normal. So there are certain disinfection mats or disinfection kiosks. You have also the temperature checks. We also have visual cues. We have also a LED monitor to inform of the visitors and guests what are the health protocols within the school. The teachers have been preparing online and offline how to do online learning. Okay, so that's it. Again, we go for our tagline as we develop this program. Together, we heal. Together, we will continue to learn. Thank you very much. I would be gladly to answer the questions later on in the open forum. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Samonte. Your sharing will frame our minds and set our perspective this school year. Truly embracing the new normal requires a lot of knowledge and preparation to be actually ready. For more details of our student support services, may we have the following. For Registrar, by Ms. Christine May Nalopa. For Student Services, Mr. John Chioresco. And for Library, Ms. Patricia Eunice Oracion.
Good morning, everyone, especially to our dear parents. I gladly welcome you all to school year 2020-2021. Thank you for putting your trust in our institution to deliver quality education to your children despite of this pandemic. I am Miss Christine May Nalopa, your records in charge, together with me, Miss Reginald Zarita, our school registrar. Next slide, please. For the calendar of activities, the opening of classes from early years to grade 12 will be on August 3, 2020. Enrollment is ongoing. You may register through the link displayed on the screen. Next slide, please. SPCM is accredited to accept foreign students. We are also glad to inform you that SPCM is accredited to accept foreign enrollees. Please take note that special fees may apply. The last official day of enrollment is on June 30. However, please be informed that school will be accepting late enrollees without any surcharge. Allow me to share some of our services in the Registrar's office. We process the requirements for incoming grade 7 and grade 11 students for their government subsidies, which are education service contracting and education voucher system, respectively. These subsidies are being funded by the government through the Department of Education and PAYAC as mandated by the law known as Government Assistance for Students and Teachers in Private Education, or GASPE. The subsidies granted to an ESC recipient or EBS beneficiary shall be deducted from the student's account upon release of the said fund from the government. For incoming grade 7 students, we are giving 13,000 subsidy for all incoming grade 7. This will be deducted from the last payment of the tuition, or either for other full payments. You may ask for the refund or deduction upon enrollment. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. The education voucher system entitles incoming grade 11 students to a subsidy worth of 18,000. Grade 10 public school and ESC completers are automatic voucher program beneficiaries. This covers 2 years of senior high school. Next slide, please. Attention to all incoming grade 11 non-ESC recipients. We would like to inform you that incoming grade 11 non-ESC recipients that the application for senior high school voucher program is now open. You may visit obap.payup.org.ph to apply. If you wish to request the following records of your children, just kindly email us or send us a request. Next slide, please. You may send a request through filling out our Google form in the link shown now, or by sending an email to registrar@spcmakati.edu.ph. Thank you very much, and God bless us all.
Good morning, everyone, and to our dear Polinian parents. So I am John, and on behalf of the Guidance Center, I'm here to present to you an overview about the guidance services. So what were your initial thoughts or feelings when you first heard that schools in general are opting for online classes? Of course, maybe some of you might have felt, let's say, scared, anxious, overwhelmed, uncertain, or even clueless as to what needs to be done. To validate your feelings, it is a normal reaction since this is a new situation for all of us. You are not alone with this. This orientation as a whole will give you an idea that the guidance services, and with the support of our school, St. Paul College of Makati, is here to cater for your child's emotional and psychosocial needs. So here what is my role as parents. We'd like to tell you that your child's learning doesn't mean you have to take on the role of the teacher literally. By that we mean your children or our children need our support and encouragement at this point of time. So how can I support my child's learning? You may create a time and space for your child to learn. Encourage your child to learn and to do work that is assigned. Answer your child's question or help when needed. Balance learning with social and emotional needs. It is also important to stay in contact with your child's teacher or school. It enables the parents to be updated with regards to any changes or instructions with regards to their child's activities. So as we said earlier, these situations are new to all of us, and most importantly to our students. So stress for them would be highly probable. So these are some of the signs that your child may be stressed. Each day may be being, let's say, irritable or clingy, falling back into old behaviors, new eating or sleeping habits, arguing or fighting more with parents or siblings, or let's say not being able to concentrate to work or studies. So as parents, how can we help children cope with stress? You may respond to your child's reaction in a supportive way. So this actually has, let's say, discussed by the speakers already, and you may give them also extra time and attention, which let's say at this point of time they need the most. So if possible, make opportunities for child to play and relax. Keep regular routines and schedules as much as possible. And you may provide facts and give their information. Let's say it has something to do with the study habits or time management. So let's say play is important as this is also to take, let's say, a break from the information overload and minimize the tension your child may experience. Of course, prayer is to relax our mind and sustain our spiritual needs. So how can the school help? With this, I would like to introduce the guidance facilitators and services. First, we have Ms. Maria Reso C. Episcope. She is the guidance facilitator for grades 7 to 10 girls. Next, we have Ms. Camille O. Raimundo. She is the guidance facilitator for the early years to grade 2 and to senior high school students. We have next Ms. Carissa Guevara. She is the guidance facilitator for grades 3, grade 4 to grade 6 girls. Next slide, please. And yours truly, Mr. John G. Resco, the guidance facilitator for grades 4 to 10 boys. So this is just an overview about what the guidance can offer to you, parents, and to students. So I'm going to discuss a little background about the guidance services. So the counseling service, which is the heart of our service. For our counseling, even let's say online group counseling or individual counseling, we will utilize Google Meet as our one of the major social media platforms. So how to avail of this service? We have three actually. So we have student request for appointment. We have a separate request for parents for appointment. Or you may directly message us when we are online. Later, we will flash the official Google Mail for the guidance office. Okay, so here's just a sample of the student request for appointment. So as you can see the guidance facilitator you wish or you want to have an appointment with. Next slide, please. So this is the, just to give you an idea, so this is the link. This will be posted at the same time in our school website for your guidance. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, this is the parents' request for appointment. This is the interface, yes. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, next slide, please. So the student referral form can be utilized by, let's say, advisors or teachers if they observe some behavior of the students that they need to attend to. Next slide, please. So this is just still the link just for you to have an idea. Next slide, please. So other services, we have individual inventory, psychological assessment, information service, research and evaluation, and placement. So this is our Guidance Center official Gmail email. Guidance Center at spcmakati.edu.ph. So the Guidance Center, with the support of our school, St. Paul College in Makati, is here for you in times of this new normal situation. With this, I would like to say we are glad to help, and we will cater for a child's emotional and psychosocial needs. Before I end this, I would like to leave a quote for you. When little people are overwhelmed by big emotions, especially students or children, it's our job to share our calm, not join their chaos. Thank you for listening and God bless.
So, good morning, dear parents and guardians. I am Ms. Patricia Eunice Oracion in behalf of the Library Department to present to you the library orientation in coping with the new normal. It is still a question on how our dear Polinians will be able to make use of the library, especially given our existing situation. Thus, we have prepared different online programs and services to effectively cater our clients' information needs via remote access to aid their distance learning. To move forward, you might be wondering how the librarians, us, would be of help to our dear Polinians when learning is done online. So we have designed the Ask a Librarian program to address a virtual reference services. Thus, we present to you the Librarian is Online service. This allows students this allows students and parents access library programs and services via online, wherein we can readily answer your questions and inquiries. Furthermore, you can navigate our services, especially your information needs. This program is explicitly processed through the following. First, through phone call. You can dial our school's landline local 240, which will direct you to us and to the physical library that will be open from Monday to Friday every 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. Second, through chat. We encourage our dear students to like and subscribe the SPCM Library Facebook page as seen at the upper right of this slide. This is to keep you updated to any upcoming library activities and announcements. You can send your questions when a pop-up chat box shows up. And lastly, you can also send your concerns through the library's official Gmail account, library@spcmakati.edu.ph. So as the educational system shifts to the new normal, we offer the library online services, which means you can access library services in the comfort of your homes. So we librarians offer a video chat through Google Meet. Upon initial inquiries of our students, librarians will schedule a student for a video conference if the need arises. By then, the librarians will send a link to their email, and we encourage you as well, parents and guardians, to accompany them during the video conference. So one of the SPCM's goal is to capture our students' love of reading. And as per observation, our dear Polinians love reading and are actively borrowing books from the library for them to bring at home and to read it. So what can we do as borrowing of physical books will no longer be done? So as per response, may I present to you the virtual circulation services of the library. First, we have EBSCO-Host. It is an online research platform that provides credible e-resources. We are also encouraging our dear Polinians to use our subscription to the EBSCO-Host, as these are peer-reviewed reading materials that will aid the students' learning in different subjects. You can access the EBSCO-Host by providing the details projected in your screens. Also, we offer the DDS. This is specifically the document delivery service, as per request by the students. So how does this works? If the librarians won't be able to find the information needed by our clients online, but is physically available in our collection, The librarians will scan the specific pages, including the citation from the physical book, as copyright prohibits the contents of the entire book published without consent from the author. It will then be sent to you via email. So lastly, we welcome back the Scholastic Reading Program. So this provides a remote access to e-resources. So the Scholastic Literacy Pro Library consists of more than 1,000 ebooks of nonfiction and fiction readily available for the students. The Scholastic offers different titles for their leisure reading as well to motivate independent learning. Right. Next slide. So that will be all, parents. Thank you and God bless us all. Should you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach us. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Miss Christine, Sir Jan, and Miss Patricia, for making us aware of the different support services our parents and students can maximize. This makes Polinian education unique. As always, our priority is the formation and education of our dear Polinians. Indeed, SPCM cultivates good values, fosters camaraderie, and sparks new challenges and opportunities. Dear parents, we shall have a short water break. I'll give you a minute or two for the water break. All right, I'm back, dear parents. I hope you had a nice sip of water for the water from the water break. And I'm sure you did not only crave for the academic orientation, but you were also looking forward on the discussion on financial concerns. May I call on our finance head, our expert in the field of managing our school finances, Sister Mary Urban Mago, SPC.
Blessed and pleasant day, dear parents and guardians. First of all, I would like to express our sincerest gratitude to each of you for the continued trust and support you are extending to St. Paul College of Makati as your partner in the formation of your children. We all know that the world is in crisis these days, which has affected us in varied ways. Yet, we also cannot remain static. We have to brave the tide because life has to go on amidst the difficulty. As a Catholic institution entrusted with sacred mission of forming the hearts and minds of the young, we are exhausting all means and effort to navigate our education system to ensure a smooth transition to the so-called new normal. We are doing everything we can to ensure the delivery of quality education, yet with mindful consideration of your financial capabilities. We want then to assure you, dear parents and guardians, that you shall get your money's worth through our excellent quality, and holistic online formation of your children. Be confident that we share with you the same vision and aspirations for the education of your school fees of pre-kinder and kinder of school C is lower than our school. However, as compared to school A and B, ours are much lower. For grade 1 to grade 4, our school is much lower compared to schools A, B, and C. For grade 5 to grade 8, school A is lower compared to our school. However, school B and C is higher than our school. For grade 9 to grade 12, our school is lower than schools A, B, and C. May I also present to you our comparative schedule of fees on the face-to-face or original fees, home-based engagement, and alternative learning program, and the latest online school fees as of July 3, 2020. To compare the original fees with the online fees, the preschool fees decreased by 12% to 13%. For grade 1 to grade 6, the decrease is by 16% to 18%. Grade 7 to grade 10 decreased by 17% to 20%. Grade 11 decreased by 19 to 20%. Grade 12 decreased by 21% to 25%. With the implementation of the online program, your children are expected to learn at the comfort of your homes. In this regard, we have suspended and reduced fees indicated as follows. However, we also need to add some other fees relevant to the online learning. Notice that the suspended fees and reduced fees are greater than the added fees for this school year. We have considered online connectivity, equipment, materials, and supplies needed for the online learning as reflected in the added fees. The sudden shift to the online learning due to the pandemic demanded us to evaluate and adjust school fees. We have re-evaluated school fees and considered your plight to meet halfway. We have come up with the updated and final online special package of school fees for school year 2020-2021. To backtrack, may I also share to you the profile of accounts receivable as of June 30, 2020. The school operation depends solely on the availability of funds. That is why we keep reminding our parents to settle all their accounts before the school year ends. We continue to upgrade our services through innovations, collaborations, and acquisitions. Let me share to you our capital expenditures for school year 2019-2020. We secure the lives of our employees by providing them their mandatory and institutional benefits they deserve. Aside from their spiritual and professional growth, may I give you a short glimpse of the schedule of benefits of our employees. Thank you so much, dear parents and guardians, for your continued support to St. Paul College, Makati. We are forever grateful to you for entrusting your children under our care. Caritas Christi urget nos.
Thank you so much, Sister Urban, for giving us a clearer picture of the school finances and schedule of fees applicable to all grade levels. Most importantly, thank you for considering our plight amidst this COVID-19 pandemic. Dear parents, we shall now proceed to the open forum. May I reiterate that you may use the chat feature for your inquiries and questions. I will read them and will be answered one by one. However, as I scrutinize the chat box, most of them are already answered, except for a few. I think this was the question which was not answered. How are mentoring, coaching, consultation with the teacher scheduled? There is 30 minutes allotted. Would this be sufficient? If 5 students would like to talk to the teacher, should the students ask for a schedule or book the teacher prior to the coaching? For the mentoring coaching periods are intended for general feedback and expanded opportunities. The teachers can still schedule a one-on-one or group consultation schedule as needed during asynchronous days. Remember, dear parents, we'll be having synchronous and asynchronous days in our schedule. All right, one question here. Hello, academic team. Would like to highlight about the PTAS that only home-based materials will be required so that it would not be difficult for us to go out to procure difficult materials. I'll read it clearly. Hello, academic team. Would like to highlight about the PTAS that only home-based materials will be required so that it would not be difficult for us to go out to procure difficult materials. May I ask our academic team to answer the question? Mr. Samonte, please.
Yes, Miss Pinky. In developing the learning pockets, we instructed the teachers when they develop certain performance tasks, there would that they would use home-based materials so that the parents and the families would not need to go out too much. Of course, this varies depending on the competencies being targeted. But as much as possible, either we do an online output or an online performance-based output or a home-based learning experience.
All right. Question, next one. Hello, will there be books aside from the learning packets? Actually, our students we will be catering to the most essential books such as math, science, English, and Filipino, aside from the learning packets. I think I saw a question on bandwidth. For the OTG, it will be provided by the school.
Miss Pinky, I think I saw a question regarding the OTG.
Yeah.
Would we provide an adapter? The adapter is just necessary if the mobile phone is not a micro USB, does not have a micro USB port. But if I would suggest if you have a computer unit, you may use already the computer unit because it works on a USB port.
Hello, finance team. How do we refund the excess payment? You may do a request for the refund of the excess payment which you made in June because we have an updated and final schedule of fees for this school year. You may contact them through cashier@spcmakati.edu.ph. Please also provide mode of payment based on the updated of fees. We will request our office to give you the updated
Miss
Sir
Pinky, I just got
Samonte?
a word from the finance office. The schedule of the updated schedule of fees will be posted on the school website today.
Thank you so much. Please extend my gratitude to Sister Urban because I am also a parent like you, dear parents. I share the same feeling. Ma'am Pinky, good noon. When are we going to pick up the USB drive? Which SPCM office? Which SPCM office? Thanks. Sir Sam, for the
Uh,
USB drive.
yeah, we would be announcing when and where you will get those materials, the learning packets, the OTG, and the student journal. Plus, please just be updated through our website and our official FB page. We would be plotting out or planning out, of course, in accordance to the IATF guidelines, how we could go about this. So please just stay tuned for the announcements. But we are targeting the distribution either either on the last week of July or on the first week of August.
I think the next question is addressed to Mr. Samonte again. What if I'm using an iPad? Do I need an adapter for that OTG?
For the OTG, since it works on a micro USB, the iPad works on a lightning cable, if I am not mistaken. Yes, you would need an adapter for that.
Mhm. If pandemic is already over by 2021, do you already have a process in place when students go back to school? Actually, we heard the words from our directors that we are planning to have our school year 2020-2021 to be online, but this will still be approved by the Department of Education. How about ID fee? For the ID falls under reduced fees. During classes, it was mentioned the students will only see the teacher and not their classmates. Will there be any online interaction among students in a way? Sir Sam?
Hello po, ayan. Yes, the students will, their classmates more likely will have their online interactions. One of the features for Google productivity tools is the Google Documents or the Google Spreadsheet, where you could share or collaborate also while doing an online work. Now, also the teacher may set up certain Google Meet conference such as this for different groups for other group dynamics.
One more question, Sir Sam. Is SPCM compliant with the TPA as most of the transactions, discussions will be based online and some private data will be shared?
Um, yes, we have all organizations and all private institutions would or should adhere to the Data Privacy Act of 2012. We had put up certain safety nets also so that not all of us or only the offices would only have access for the private information. There are also certain restrictions on how offices would be accessing these.
All right. Follow-up question. Ma'am Pinky and Sir Samonte, is the USB drive and journals materials already included in the tuition fee? Notice that in the presentation of Sister Urban, it is already included. They are already included in our added fees. For incoming grade 7, will EST form accomplishment also apply to all students? Sir Sam, may I ask our registrar's office to please answer? For incoming grade 7, will ESC form accomplishment also apply to all students?
Miss Pinky, regarding the ESC, I think the ESC forms are applicable, or applications are applicable to all students, even for all students.
Ah, here is another question. May we know why each student is required to pay 1.5% tuition when they will be studying at home? Dear parents, the employees, particularly the teachers, will be coming here in school to do the online teaching. We will be here uh, during the implementation of the synchronous and asynchronous teaching. Of course, we also have to maintain the sanitation, the proper sanitation of our school, our buildings, our equipment, our facilities, and so on. Thank you, parents. Sir Sam, another question. Do we have a separate session for grading system discussion?
Yes, definitely. In terms, because the Department of Education might be changing a little bit in terms of, or changing the grading system. So we also are waiting for the announcements from the Department of Education. So as soon as it is given to us, we will also discuss it with the parents.
Are you going to provide a privacy notice and require SPCM staff to sign confidentiality undertaking? Sir Sam, please.
Oh, sorry, I just pressed my reply on on the chat box. Yes, there is a form for that.
The last one, so we will start online classes on August 3, not August 24. Dear parents, August 3 and the rest of the week will be used for orientations like this for our students. But all our activities, all our online activities will be posted through our FB page or our school website. It's almost 12 o'clock, dear parents. Thank you so much for patiently and critically listening to us. I believe you spared this very moment for us. Thank you for once again entrusting your children under our care. We hope to see you again in the next online sessions designed to help us in this academic journey. We shall now have the closing prayer to be led by Sister Maria Socorro Marcos, SPC. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Dear Lord, we thank you for this day. As we move from here, help us to carry with us a new attitude and plenty of gratitude. We unite our prayers with Christ as we say,
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we
As we
forgive
forgive
those who
those who
trespass against
trespass
us.
against us. And
Lead us
lead us
not into
into
temptation,
temptation,
but
but
deliver
deliver
us
us from
from
evil.
evil. Amen.
let us invoke the assistance of our Blessed Mother to obtain for us and our loved ones the true peace of our soul. resignation to the will of God, and perseverance in faith. And so we pray.
Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with you. Blessed are you among women, and blessed is the fruit of your womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now and at the hour of our death. Amen.
With the example of our Lord Jesus, may we avoid sin in all its forms, and so live a holy life, that in all things God may be glorified.
Glory be to the Father, and to the Son, and to the Holy Spirit, as it was in the beginning, is now, and will be forever. Amen.
Mary, our Mother and Model,
Pray for us.
Saint Paul, our Patron,
Pray for us.
Father Chauvet, and our first sisters,
Intercede for us.
may the love of Christ impel us.
Amen.
In the
In
name
the
of the
name of the
Father, and of
Father,
the Son, and of the
and the
Holy
Holy
Spirit.
Spirit.
Amen.
Amen. Once again, thank you so much, dear parents. Remember that we keep you in our prayers. Be assured and be inspired, as Jesus said, don't let your hearts be troubled. Trust in God and trust also in me. John 14:1. Caritas Christi Urget Nos. This has been Miss Pinky Karagayan signing off.